Marcus Rashford is among one of 5 Manchester United players that have picked up an injury since the Coventry game. And this injury crisis at this club is getting out of hand. There's more injured players than fit players. There's only like a certain amount of players that can actually play this weekend. And our bench is going to be absolutely full of kids, which, to be honest, with the way we played versus Coventry, may be a blessing in disguise. But Lacey and Harry Amas do have debut plans in the work, and we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about 2 new transfer targets that we've not been linked to yet from credible sources that could be somewhat realistic. We're going to talk about the manager news. INEOS' number 1 candidate has been revealed, but I'm kind of going to leave that to the end because I'm bored of all things manager news. Jason Wilcox meets Ten Hag. Ten Hag speaks about that, some more takeover plans, and the latest on Ashworth, and a few other stories. So please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and let's get into it because it's half time in the Arsenal-Chelsea match, so I want to get this rounded up in 10 minutes. Eric Ten Hag says Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes are all carrying injury problems ahead of the game against Sheffield United, but he's hopeful that Garnacho and Fernandes will make it. McTominay and Rashford are doubtful. We also know Maguire's playing with an injury. Bruno and Maguire have been playing with an injury for a while. And Bruno and Maguire have been playing for an injury for a while. Garnacho hasn't been 100% fit. They're kind of warriors that I think will realise that everyone else in the squad is injured, so they're probably going to have to carry on. Bruno and Garnacho are the only 2 players in the Man United squad that haven't been injured this season, but are sort of injured now, but might just have to play through it, which means it could be worse, but I don't know if we have a choice. So hopefully Bruno and Garnacho are okay to play, but if they're not okay to play, I don't want to risk it. Now, if they're not okay to play, this is what the squad would look like. Now, I don't think Jackson will play because he's just playing in the match right now against Manchester City. I think it will be Casemiro centre-back. Ahmad will then play attacking midfield with Maino and Eriksen behind him. And Forson will be on the right, Anthony on the left, or the other way around, Højlund up top, which is not a particularly promising squad. I'd assume Fernandes and Garnacho make it. Maguire will probably play through injury again, but I mean, I'm lucky it's only Sheffield United, but if we lose to Sheffield United and embarrass ourselves, oh my. Do apologise if we get a few lag spikes, but my Wi-Fi is Glazer Wi-Fi at the moment. But let's talk about the Amas Lacey debut plan. 17-year-old Lacey is penciled in for his Manchester United debut run and says reluctant Nico. Now, Lacey's just come back from a big injury that ruled him out in October. I don't see him starting or playing in the next couple of games, but I do think that last or second last game of the season, I could easily see him coming off the bench and getting a little bit of a cameo like we saw Garnacho under Ragnick towards the end of the season, because there's probably not much to play for. Same with Harry Amas. As far as I'm aware from sources I've spoke to, Lacey and Amas are those 2 players in the academy that are very highly rated. They also like Ethan Wheatley, Ogunai, of course, but Amas and Lacey, 2 17-year-olds that could get some first team involvement, are the most likely. Continuing on, we know Jason Wilcox. If you watched my video yesterday and watched my video this morning, Jason Wilcox has arrived. That is done. He's doing a big assessment of Ten Hag's strengths, weaknesses, his training, his relationship with squad, and he's going to have a big role in deciding Ten Hag's future, which hasn't 100% been decided yet. You've got to remember that. Now, Eric Ten Hag spoke about this and he said, I met Wilcox yesterday for the first time this week. We will not have so much time, and I know his profile, a lot of experience in the youth and 1 year at Southampton. I look forward to the partnership. Just very positive about Wilcox. We know who he is. He's a good guy. It's a great appointment. Haven't had much time to speak with him, but we know these coming weeks Wilcox will make a big assessment. There is a feeling that Ten Hag will be sacked, but nothing is done. Nothing is official. As Romano and Ornstein say, anything can happen. Continuing on to the next story, a little bit of a rogue story, but I thought I'd include this in the news show. It's a news show to cover all news. And it said, word from inside Carrington is that Johnny Evans has been earmarked for a future position on Manchester United coaching staffs. Evans' calmness, football knowledge and experience has been noted by senior figures who going forward are keen to keep him involved with young defenders. Absolutely no issue with that. You're welcome aboard, Johnny, if you want to be a coach. Johnny Evans is a player I've always liked. I really liked him at United, top professional. When we got him and knocked him in jail, I was thinking, the standards of this club. But whenever he's played, he's not put a foot wrong. Arguably, really been our best centre-back this season. Actually, I think Maguire and Varane have had good seasons when they've played, but none of our centre-backs have really played. Now, Johnny Evans' contract is up in the summer. Does that mean that Evans, he's finished, he's played his last game for United unless he comes back from injury? Or will we give him a 1 year extension? He plays next season. I have a feeling he might just go on to be a coach next season at United. I do apologise for any lag we're getting. My Wi-Fi is just on one today. It's so annoying because I've tried to record this and then I took a break and now the Chelsea game's playing and Arsenal 3-0 up. Anyway, continuing on, it was said Manchester United are heavily considering a deal for Girona left-back Miguel Gutierrez. His release clause is known and United are not willing to pay are not unwilling to pay. He wants to play in the Premier League. So Girona, obviously owned by Man City Group. Omar Barada worked with Man City Group. Wilcox has ties to Man City. No surprise at the link. Girona are doing very well this season. Fabrizio Romano confirmed Manchester United want a left back and will sign one if they are in that £25 million budget range. I'm not sure what his release clause is. If anyone knows it, let me know down below. But definitely one to watch, as that's the first real left back we've been linked to. A couple of other decent sources have linked us to him as well. Another name we've been linked to that we haven't really been linked to before is Naipan. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know who this player is. I really don't. I'm going to go do some research on this player. So if we're linked to him again, I will have an understanding of who this guy is. But this is the news on, of course, Naipan. So it was said on the player, and why does my screen keep closing here? And I'm sorry about the lag. I'm trying to record so many times it keeps lagging. But it said that Naipan is well liked by Manchester United and is seen as a potential target as they overhaul the side. Keep an eye on him, says the Mail. CM also said that the 17-year-old midfielder is on Man United's wish list, and United see him as an investment for the future and plan to secure him and could send him out on loan. He's seen as the next Martin Odegaard. Obviously, he is from Norway, so that's another reason why there is potentially a comparison there. Midfielder, 17 from Norway. I'm a big fan of Bergwall, who's Swedish, that we were linked to and I did research on. He's gone to Tottenham. One thing I've noticed about INEOS and Salimo Pafunde, this guy, INEOS plan to sign a lot of 16, 17-year-olds or looking at them. Thomas Palmer as well, potentially loan them out to Nice, potentially sign them for the Son or Nice with the idea of bringing them at United. I think there will be 4 or 5 first-team signings for United. I think there could be, some 10 million 16-year-olds coming in as well that we could maybe loan out to Nice. So I do think keep an eye on those 17-year-old talents that are going to be very cheap. It's something that United love to do. Now, obviously, it's how we spend the money. It's not how much money we spend, it's how we spend the money. And we've got to spend money smartly. And one guy that would ensure that is Dan Ashworth. But if we're signing Dan Ashworth now and taking his gardening league off and giving Newcastle what they want, it's not spending money pretty correctly. Now, Manchester United actually put in a 2 million bid for Ashworth, and Newcastle want 15 million plus 5 in add-ons. Arsenal just gone 4-0 up. Kai Havertz is kind of embarrassing Chelsea here. But it was said, unless there's a significant softening of Newcastle's stance, there is little expectation at Manchester United of Dan Ashworth starting before the summer, but they're prepared to sit tight if necessary. United are prepared to wait until the autumn and end the calendar year if necessary for Ashworth. Now, I think this is United putting out this message to tell Newcastle in the media, we're not going to give you what we want for Ashworth, so lower the price, or you're just going to have to keep paying his wages. It said that United, who are operating on a tight budget this summer, feel that the extra 10 million plus for Ashworth may leave them a little bit short in the summer. Now, I think Ashworth this summer is so important, we need him in place, and I think maybe the 10 million for Ashworth could be worth it. But at the same time, I think if we give Newcastle 15-20 million, teams are going to know, okay, Ratcliffe will end up paying. It's the same United that will end up paying what Chelsea wanted for Mount, what Atalanta wanted for Højlund. If we say, you know what, we're not going to give you what you want, we're not going to give you the 20 million you want, and we hold it out, even though Ashworth is so important this summer, it sends a message that, Man United aren't here to overpay or be mugged off. And I think that's one of the reasons we can't bring Ashworth in. As much as I think he probably is worth the 10 million, it's, we've got a lot to do some business-wise this summer, and I think it also sends a message that we're weak. Do apologise for the lag spikes coming up. But to end off the show, I want to talk about the manager news. I thought I'd leave this at the end because I'm kind of bored of being linked to this manager, that manager, this manager, that manager. But it said Thomas Tuchel was Manchester United's #1 choice to replace Erik ten Hag as manager this summer if they sat the Dutchman. From what we've been hearing for a while, De Zerbi's #1 choice, then Potter was #1 choice, now Tuchel's #1 choice. I don't think anyone knows what #1 choice is. This isn't a particularly reliable source. I just think they're going, okay, we've been linked to Tuchel a little bit this week. Let's say he's #1 choice. No one knows who INEOS' #1 choice is. Tuchel, Potter, De Zerbi look like the most likely, but there could be a surprise in there. It could also be that they stick with ten Hag. I think Tuchel could potentially be #1 choice, as he's probably the most experienced out of the managers we're linked to, but we don't know how convinced INEOS are. We know Tuchel wants to come, but we don't know if INEOS want Tuchel. Anyway, thank you for watching. I do apologise for a few lag spikes. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.